welcome back to PDNZ. In the last upload you would have seen that I showed the painting on the cab, some of the demasking and the blasting and priming of the rails. So yeah, I progressed along a bit more. I haven't turned the camera on and done much videoing. Right, didn't film any of it obviously, but had an opportunity, put the truck outside again and we've painted the engine. So I've got what I can. Put the front up on the high blocks I've got, so I was able to lay underneath with plenty of room, and it's been painted from all angles. In saying that, I just had a walk around and I can see I've still missed the odd little bit. We'll deal with that afterwards. It's not too bad. Got to remember you're never going to see it when the cab's on. Yes, I have painted the hoses and got some of the wiring loom. It's just a decision I made, that's what I was going to do. It's not a show truck as we said before. Gearbox, painted that, satin black, same as the engine. And yeah, it's all painted underneath. So I'm about to wrap it, and then I can got a bit of prep work to do on the frame still. Missed a bit of grease underneath around the front axle. When you're laying under there you can see it, so I want to get that off, get it all clean. So we'll wrap it up. We've got some that plastic I used on the cab here, thin material, so we'll try and wrap it around and do a bit of taping and keep the yellow off it. So we've done a little bit of body work on the frame, nothing structural, just cosmetic, just something's rubbed on there to tidy all that up, get that dressed up. May put a checker plate on here yet, won't see anything underneath, but make that call when we get to it. Right, I'll do a bit of wrapping, and these bits here are to go black. Yep, my cab stayed lock mount. I noticed it was broken, so I closed all that up and re-welded it and had it in the press and straightened it and gave it a rub. Paint that. I'll paint the fan shroud. Radiator brackets are here, top stay brackets. Get those when we got the gun going. And the air intake structure, got a bit of work to do on the rubber of that. Alright, put the camera down and do some wrapping. So I'll pick you up off the stand here and I'll show you what I've done. Bit of a wrap up. Talking about wrap up, yeah, a lot of things are under wrap at the moment. So the engine re-wrapped, obviously. Got the front sitting up on the blocks because there's a lot of room to get underneath and do what we've got to do. We're getting a little bit of shine in the rails, considering I did sand it. It's just an industrial primer. I can get the numbers off the tin. It's something I had in stock here. It's what I used. My biggest problem in the shop here is because I sandblasted the whole truck, obviously it got blown down with air and yeah, multiple blowdowns. I never ever got rid of the sand. So every time you want to paint somewhere and you think, oh, just pull the wiring loom, I'll just pull the air lines, the sand's all trapped inside any plastic or between the lines, and you disturb it, it drops out. And it's on the cover there now, quite a bit just fell out. And then because when you're painting, the airflow, it just blows it up and you end up with it. That wasn't sanded anyway, but you end up with the fine particles. The light's showing it there now, you can see it. So if you're after a show truck finish, you would never achieve it, not with the technique I've used. I may just wet sand that and muck around with it, but in saying that, it's going to have a checker plate, deck plate put on here. It's something I have to do. One, I want to hide all my sins of what I've done in here, and I'm going to need it for my airlines obviously to run to the trailer. Don't want them hanging down and catching on bolts and you never see it in a cab over. Saying that, I may put a rear facing camera in the cab so I can see all this stuff. So yeah, along the rails here, you can see where I've just stopped due to time. And I'm also ready, I'm going to finish painting what we can see in front of us here at this height, and just everything eye height visually. And then those blocks get taken out from under the front. I'll double check all my work underneath before I remove them. And they will come to the back, and I'll stand the rails up, I'll stand the blocks up and put them underneath here and lift it right up, and obviously paint the rear of the truck, the diffs and under the frames. So everything underneath at the front here has been painted to the best of my ability. So you get under here and have a look. All the rails, everything's done under there, all the front axle. I've had a pretty good go at it. It's a little bit annoying. I missed a bit of grease inside one of the U-joints here. I've still got grease on that. I turned it and realised I hadn't got that off. I might work away at that yet. So I didn't blast hard around any of this. I didn't want to get sand into all the seals and that. You notice a lot when you're painting. It's like I missed it. Yes, now I know I haven't done it like up in that. I'll try and block the light up in that cross member there. So I haven't painted in there yet. I stopped at the diff here, at the input. That's my line I've drawn on the chassis here for painting underneath. So when I lift the rear up, I'll get under there, and all this here will get obviously coated. Air tank come up all right. I mean, as we've talked about before, I realise a lot of people will really dress the frame rails up and make them really look something. But this truck, by the time if we stand back, cab goes on, and that's obviously rear mounts there for the cab, locks. So yeah, all that's, can't see it, and fuel tank, and time the fender comes in, rolls around. Yeah, there's only like 4-inch gap between the fender and the fuel tank, I think, something like that. There's just nothing visible on this truck in rail length. She's a shorty. Right, the other thing I did is, I should have filmed a bit before I wrapped it, but we'll have a look at the end result. The visor, multiple wet sands with build primer, and then top coat went on, and yeah, really happy with it. Looks really good at the moment. So my idea of this is, someone wrote a comment about my cat yellow and the white, how it's gone together good. Well, my darling partner, she has really nicknamed the truck the Bumblebee truck because of the yellow and the white, and we're going to put some black on it to make it a Bumblebee under the visor. I put the satin black under there to reduce any glare. I've masked it all. You can see where I've masked it, and I just knifed that off. I don't know if it's not a clean edge. It's in, not Tilbury Road. It's going to be alright. Made a leak under the tape. It's not panel work as such. So yeah, that was achieved today. And the cab, it's all under wraps. It's gone into stealth mode. If you want to see any more, you're going to have to pay. Just kidding. I've had to paint in the shop here due to the wind outside. Another update. It's been a few hours this morning and we had no wind here, so I tacked it, changed the blocks over to the rear and gone along and finished the frame. Gave the air tanks a squirt too. Dust particles are a major problem here for me. Just gets into everything. It's okay, these go under the battery box, never see them, only see the ends. But at least I know they're painted and there's no corrosion in them. It's my main objective here. Just to seal everything up. Got it in there okay. You think you're finished though, and you just walk along and you see something you've missed. It's alright, we can go around and touch up here and there where we have to later. It's missed for a reason, the gun doesn't fit there. That's the next problem I've got. And then my young fella, he started demasking. He's unwrapped the engine. Time the cab's on there. It'll be right, you can only see it from one angle. I can see a few things I've missed walking around it here now. I'm not going to let that stress us out. I've finished demasking on the labels, took the engine one off. Got the compressor one to pull yet. I just thought I'll give you a bit of a overview. I can see how the professionals do it. They just strip the truck down, get rid of all the brackets and hang them and paint them properly. It's come out alright. I'm going to growl. Time it's covered in road grime, and it's, as I say, I intend to give it a run. It's not a show pony. Putting it up on the blocks is the answer. It allowed us to get under here. I'll try and get under here a bit for you. I mean, it just allowed me to tackle under the springs and under the rails here. Pretty happy. Some of the marks on the rails on the inside, yeah, it's not my painting, it was already there. I can show you up close. So that stuff there, I never blasted it hard enough. Lesson learnt. Trouble is with my blaster, I got a big hose and it won't really bend. I sort of need to replace it all. It's pretty old and it's very, very rock solid. It's just hard to maneuver it around. The diff come up alright. Did that little bit of body work on there just to make it look right. I mean, it's going to look different when we get the airbags in there. I haven't even got the airbags. I don't know what the tops are going to be like. Whether they're anodized, will I mask up the bags and paint those pieces? I suppose I will. I don't know. I'll make that call when I get it. It's the same with the shocks. I'll have to paint those. They'll probably be blue or some odd colour. You never know. Make a shopping list up and I'll go and get the stuff. Overall, I mean, the gearbox, yeah, I mean, as you can see, I painted some of the harness bits and pieces. Time you put the checker plate on there, deck plate, sit the cab back on there, it'll hide 100 sins. I'm going to carry on doing a bit on the engine here, I think now. Sort of made the decision, we're not painting any more on it. So I'm going to start and put some fan belts on it, set all this front up. Wiring is just going to be a complete oh no moment. I think I'll just bury my head in the sand with that one. Just shove it all up there, make it look good. Pretend that I haven't seen it. Gotta be in the right frame of mind to attack that. I know I shouldn't have painted some of the pulleys. I've got a little bit in them. Belts won't like that. New bearings and that. But yeah, I get the belts on, alternator on, get all that stuff on before we sit the radiator back on it. And I will try and sort the wiring before we get that far. One of the things I was looking at was this half moon bracket up here. I have to go back and look at one of my other videos. I just can't find it. Maybe it was never on there. I've lost a few things, but then I found a few and I haven't done too bad considering. I mean, look at my workshop. I've got stuff scattered everywhere. The truck shelf's over there. Just shoved everything on one shelf. I've tried to keep it there so I know where it is. But then I started stacking it over here. That's what farmers do. They spread their job site out, make it look big. Ooh, got a bad run on there I didn't see. It's blooming outside of the tank too. Bugger. No, I'll touch that up when it's on. I'll end up either getting a small gun or I'll just use the normal gun and I'll just cut it right back to very little output and just go around and touch a few things up as I put it together. Alright, with that I'll put the camera down and carry on fluffing around. What have I been up to? Well, as I said before, I don't film myself working. I just turn the camera on and give you a bit of an update. Front airlines, yeah, I know they've got a big bend in them like that. Need to get the truck running and turn the steering and do some adjustments, see what it's going to hit on and what it's going to do. But they're in. Got the fitting through the, can't see it, through the rail in there, got the inside line on. So they're mocked up. ×2 obviously for everything. Got the other side done. Same scenario, see what it does when it moves. Got the exhaust bracket that I made. That got painted separately. Just bolted that up. I can't put the exhaust on yet because yeah, I want to paint the exhaust. Right, next thing I was doing this morning, the dash, I had to go at painting and it didn't work due to my lack of preparation. So I went through and I put build primer on it. 2K build primer and a bit of glazing, sanded the glazing separately, and then I've gone through and I've wet sanded the build primer. I'm going to have a go at putting top coat on, see what it does. Compartment, glove compartment, whatever you want to call it, storage box. So hopefully top coat goes on. It's, yeah, I can see we're still going to have possibly a few imperfections in it. But considering what the dash was like, it's, yeah, goes on and it's not too bad. It'll be a lot better than what it was. We've got all that prepped. So I'll bring you back once I've painted it and we'll have a look. Got that done. I don't know what other people do. I have no idea. It obviously it had scratches and quite a bit of damage to it. So we'll see if we can bring it back to some sort of life with that. It is very hot here today, humidity, my boy just had a look, I think we're 75% humidity. So not the best of days for painting, but it's not going to go away, it's going to be like that for the next week. Right, I'll put you down and mix some paint up. Update, got the dash sprayed, the light's sort of reflecting on the paint in here. But overall, yep. I'm pretty happy with that. It's not meant to have a gloss look, it's only a satin black that. Put it outside in the natural light and it looks pretty good. I had to bring it in, it's getting a shower of rain here at the moment. Quite a bit of moisture floating around. Cubby hole, rest of the dash. I'll take you around and show you the visor. I don't think I've filmed any of that. The visor's been painted the yellow on the top and I've gone with the satin black underneath. I was going to chuck a bit of white up there, but I won't go that far. Okay, while the dash is drying and that, moved on to the next little thing here, trying to chuck the air tanks back under the battery box here. I've cut some strips of rubber and they're sitting up on the air tanks in there because they're pretty crude how they mount, just jam up against the box. Got a bit of touch-up work to do here on the end of the tank. That's right, I'll go around and do all those things. I've tried to roll them into the correct position. Now I've got them on the pallet jack here, holding them up. Got the bands, but my next magical problem is, yeah, maybe you slide those on from the end because they come in. Never get them up through the holes. I shall figure that out in a minute. But my next major dilemma, always a dilemma in my life, where the battery box holes are for these clamps. Right where I got the pallet jack and the blocks. So I'm going to have to put a block across the middle of the tank and put an ordinary jack under there, I think, and just hold them up while I try and get a clamp on. Yeah, marvellous. Anyway, we'll just keep working away at it I'll slowly go back to get it. Next thing I've gone and done, the visor, it was all masked, as you just saw. So I've demasked it. And there's our paint job. Don't know how that's going to look on the truck up there. Didn't take long to scratch things. Yeah, that's just that satin black, as I said, so should be right. It'll survive. This really wants a polish. It's got enough thickness in it. And that I won't wet sand it. I won't cut it, because you end up cutting into the screws and all those sorts of dramas. So I'll just put the buffer over it later on when I get used to what I'm doing with that. See how it comes up. Put a bit of shine on it. It's not going to stay shiny, as I said. I'm not a polishing man. Get it on the truck and that'll be it. Right, take two. We can got the rubber. Talking about something and haven't even got it in my hand. So, yeah, metric. You'll have it 4" by whatever 1.5 millimeter is in thickness, 10 meters, whatever that is in feet. Must be 30 something feet. I'll get rid of the tape off there and all that. So my idea is going to wrap that around the tank. But what I was just going to talk about is here the straps come up full width and then they taper in, obviously where the joint is. And I was thinking about where I cut the rubber to match all that and match this, but yeah, I think I'm getting too technical. We'll just wrap it around the tank and put some dummy tape on it, and then figure out how I'm going to get the tanks in here without scratching them. Could be a pallet jack job. My boys are here outside arguing. Might get one of them to help me. We'll just mock this up and see how we go. Okay, so I just wrapped the rubber around the tank and marked it. I brought it over here and laid it on the floor. I'm going to get smart. It was hard to get it around the tank and try and line it all up. Now both tanks are the same diameter. If one was to get clever, they would measure it. 2310, 2 meters 310. Don't you just love metrics? I can hear all you people up north going, no! Right, 2310. I'll write that down. Right, my two boys are sitting here. They both just come up with, it's a zebra truck. Great stuff. So we've got the rubber bands on there. I've measured equal distance from the ends of from the seams to there. So I've got those equal, and this from the edge of there to the edge of there is correct for the bands to get the centres. So I cut it to length as you saw, and all I've done is done a joint around the back and just put a bit of duct tape on there just to hold the rubber in place. So the next $1 million thing to do is to get it in there without destroying the tank. We won't film it because there could be a lot of bad words, but we'll come up with a plan and see how we can do it. Right, we have a plan. We're going to lift the tank, sit it on one band. Just be careful of that up. And there we have it, tank fitted. Bit of a battle. My oldest boy, he helped me last night to get that one up. Got the jack under it and we held it while we got the bands around. So, trying to get the orientation of the tank correct, trying to get it vertical, that was a bit of a mission because when you lifted the bands it rolled the tank. So So I've got a bit of touch-up work to do paint-wise. When I sprayed, there's a few things I've missed. I'll just go around and I'll get that later. Alright, we'll have a look at the other side. Frame's still covered in bits and pieces. Visor come up alright. Gave that a bit of a buff. So there's the other tank. Got it on. This one was a bit more trickier. I might have just, the way I fluked it or chanced it, the bands on this side, one of them was really out of shape. It's actually got a twist in it. So I think it come off this side because this tank had been side swiped through here. And it had hit the band and pulled it and put a twist in it. I tried to straighten it and all on the anvil and hammer it out, but you know, aluminium's like, it's got a mind of its own. So I got it on there. Yeah, they're done up. I got underneath with a blow hammer and just very carefully capped the strap while I was doing it up. Try and relieve a bit of tension in it and chase it around because the rubber grabs on the tank real good too, which is a good thing. I know the tanks aren't gonna slide anywhere and bugger off on me, so that's what I'm sort of aiming for. So it was a bit of a concern, like I changed one of the brackets for the air tanks at the back here. Now the light's no good, but yeah, I've got clearance down there, got about 1.5 inches of clearance, so that's all good. I don't see any issues on this side. I knew that was close there, air tank fitting down in there. As long as the tank doesn't move anywhere, we'll be all good. So overall, yeah, you stand back and look at it, pretty happy with it. Certainly getting a bit of shape and size and colour. Now that there, it's not rimples in the shadows. It's the light coming in the door. Looks bad, I know. It's just the way the light's shining in here and the lights out of the roof. So yeah, got the air cleaner can to do. Done some body work on that. Had a bit of damage. My thoughts are with that, because that goes on top of the engine, just to be a little bit different, I may paint that the same as the tanks and stick it up on top of the engine here, because the cab's all the same colour underneath, so I might just chuck a bit of white in there, just because the air cleaner can is, or sorry, the filter is anodized on the end anyway when you buy them, so it's going to be different again. That's my thoughts there. Can't install the exhaust just yet. I am going to stove black it. I don't want to leave it its natural colour because it'll go rusty. So I'm pretty sure I'll go with a stove black on that. Do the muffler and everything and get it up there. I know there's a lot of black and white. It's not called the Bumblebee truck for nothing. That's what it's going to end up being. But it'll come together. Overall, I'm happy with it. Right, we made the decision, it's reassembly time for the front. As you can see in the video there, I've got all the labelling on the wiring harness. I put a call out on Facebook on the 362 cab over site, and a few guys replied, which I appreciated. Added to my confusion that I've already got. This truck used to have AC, but it's been removed, so I've got a lot of extra wiring in the harness, which is no longer in use. So I've come to the decision that the cab needs to go on, and I need to put power into the system so I can test the wiring. At the moment, obviously the truck's dead and can't power anything up, like the manual fan switch and all that in the cab. So I'll just set all the wiring harness up there. I can work with it, obviously with the cab on. We'll just have to make it work. So my assistant here, Mr. Alex, has put a die nut over all the bolts for the fan. So he's cleaned all the threads up. He's just putting never sees on them, and he's putting them in finger tight until they're all in, and then you'll ratchet them up. So I got the fan shroud sitting here. We're going to just sit that on over the fan. Done the same on the radiator. We've tapped all the holes that that's held on with, so it should go on all right. And then we're going to try and lift the radiator in. I know I'm going to regret it. There'll be something I haven't done on the front of the engine, or I've missed, and I'll fight with it, but we just got to keep moving forward with this. Radiator's hanging off the forklift. We've guided the bolts through. Alex is putting the rubber mounts on for me. And he's put the washer on and then one nut. Had nylock nuts on it, but I'm going to do a little bit different. I'm going to double nut it, do them up and then put a lock nut on.
Someone needs to hold the bolt at
No, the bolt's moving, he said. Yeah. Right, hold the bolt down for him.
Oh.
Have you got enough to get your washer and nut on?
No.
Can't you get the other rubber up?
Oh.
It's pretty close. Very close.
This one not.
Let's see. Yeah, you'll get a nut on there.
This one not go.
We'll get it started. We'll just start. Maybe we won't get them double nutted. Maybe I worked it out wrong.
Next.
Yeah, you're alright, you'll get it. Just keep turning it.
I won't help you filming this.
Doesn't matter. Keep going. Yeah, got it started. That's good. Right, I need to do those up. I'll just show everybody something else we had a problem with. So we lifted it in and I had the bolts sitting up and I tried to put them through the centre holes but I couldn't get them in. And this bottom pipe's been an issue too with the bolts sticking right up in there. And then we were looking and I was like, why can't we shift it over? So we looked down in here, I'll grab the light, and there's always been a mark on the edge of the radiator there. So when this truck had a conversion from left to right hand drive, they obviously changed the steering box possibly, I'm not sure what will happen. But anyway, long story cut short, there's a bolt sticking through and it's been rubbing on the edge of the radiator, well, since it's been put in. So I didn't want to grind, so I don't want all the sparks in the truck, so I just cut the end off it. But that's what was jamming the radiator up. Incredible. So we overcome that little problem. Now we'll do the mounts up, and it's still hanging off the forky. I've got the shroud to sort out before I get too carried away. Make sure I can get that up on, which I can't do until the slings are off, and obviously all the stays to go on. So you just sat and watched one of my latest uploads. It's the 27th of January, as you've just viewed. That's the current date, obviously, as I sit here in front of you. Yeah, there's been a lot happen. I'm really happy with progress on it. Yeah, a lot happens when it's warmer for me. Get out in the mornings. I'm still out here in the evenings. It's currently 9 o'clock in the evening as I do this end of blog video for you. So we've got a rain event coming for tomorrow. Got a few other things on the to-do list to do in town and that. But yeah, it's hay season for us while getting to the end of it. Been away doing a bit of baling for people. So there's been a few other activities happen where I haven't worked on this every single day. But I try and aim to knock a few hours out every week on it. And as you've just viewed, yeah, I've managed to get through quite a list of things I wanted to achieve on it. So yeah, next will be plumbing for the radiator, and I'll carry on with what I can do on framework. Then I need to go away with a big shopping list and obtain the airbags, shocks, and all the hardware obviously to finish all the rail work off. I haven't decided on the type of LED lights I'm going to run in the rear bumper yet, and the fenders, still thinking about all that. Maybe reuse some of the old ones yet if they'll tidy up, but I'll just work my way through that. Once the framework's done, as I always have said, but it may happen a bit quicker, I'll work on the cab and I'll try and get all the interior put back in that. I have to confirm with my friends in the US what I'm going to do about the window seal. I chucked a bit of a call out there on Facebook to see what could be sourced, but yeah, it'll sort of come back with the same answer. You want a window seal, you got to buy one off Peterbilt. There's no seals sitting available on anyone's shelf really at the moment, so I'll have to run with that. So, but the cab can go back on once I've done my piece inside it, and the windows can go in later. It's not going to stop me from getting the cab on. As you saw in my video, I need to get some power into the truck so I can diagnose the wiring issues for my fan and that, so I can check the auto switch and manual and that and see what's happening. That's the only issue I had with this truck before I disassembled, was the fan was locked on. As soon as it got enough air pressure, it was engaging the fan. So I'll get to the bottom of that. It's just a bit of diagnosis. So apart from that, yeah, no, it's really good. I'm happy. Wheels, yep, I'm going to work on those soon. Probably going to acid wash the rims, and we'll see how they come up. And then maybe do a final polish on them. But it's just stuff I'll work away with at. The major painting components are over. Just bits and pieces now, just go through. And obviously the rims, the inside, the inner rims, they're steel on this truck, so I'll blast and paint those. But I mean, I only need a couple of hours on a decent day and I can smash those out. And we've still got another, well, we've got February, March, April before the weather turns. We've got heaps of time to do anything like that. And obviously the fifth wheel's all painted as you've seen previously, but I'm not going to mount that until I get all the plumbing done in the rails, and that's going to be a bit of a mission on its own. I've labelled stuff, but I should go and put some new plumbing in there, and wiring obviously to the back. I just cut it off. It was such a mess. So anyway, I appreciate your viewing and hanging in there till the end of this video. Don't know how long it's going to be. Obviously I haven't edited the video yet. I mean, you've viewed it and I've made the video for you to see this, but for me, no, I haven't. It's sitting here on the GoPro and I need to go through and I'll edit it. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed what I've decided to leave in. Bloopers, yeah, no, not worth seeing those, in the bad language. Most certainly, it's not user friendly. So I cut that bit out. But yeah, there is some funny stuff, but yes, it's funny to me, but not to you. I don't think you'd want to view it. But overall, it's pretty good. I mean, both my boys come out here. They sort of got their own way of helping. The oldest boy, he'll help me with the forklift and lifting and that type of thing, but he sort of doesn't get too involved in the hands-on part of it. Younger Alex, as you've already viewed, yeah, he likes to learn and get involved in it a bit more, so that's cool. I sort of want those boys to enjoy it as much as I am, otherwise it becomes a burden. We're getting into it, as you can see. With that, I'll stop waffling on because it's all I'm doing. And again, thanks for viewing, and yeah, smash that like button. It helps the video, gets it out there. I see the subscription side of it is slowly growing, and by the time I hit the 300 mark or something like that, my blogs will be over, the truck will be built. But who knows, might carry the channel on with something else I do. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it. As you know, it's not huge, but I appreciate the people who do follow. And I hope that somebody learns something from it, maybe if they're doing the same as me and they see something and think, geez, I never thought of that, because yeah, I've learnt from watching other people. That's how I've achieved what I have. It's got me a long way. But yeah, no, thank you, and I'll end it there.